When the remains of the 8 slaughtered miners of Lindo Creek were brought to Ogle Airport by CID Ivleary detectives, they were handed over to Likens Funeral Home for proper storage. The remains remained at Likens for 4 years before they were buried. Mortician of the Likens Funeral Home, Dr. Dawn Stewart, recalled under oath the 21st day of June 2008 when ranks from the Ghana Police Force contacted the Likens Funeral Home.
We received a call from the Department of Ghana, Department of the Police Force, in reference to having to pick up some human remains that were burnt and decomposed from an interior location. We were prepared to pick up the human remains. We were further notified that they would like to have one of our porter staff to be able to go out to the designated area to assist with the removal of the human remains, because it was not just one human remain, it was several human bodies that were compiled.
Dr. Stewart testified that none of her staff could have meddled with the remains then, as that would have been deemed evidence tampering. She testified that the remains were kept at Likens in the same state as they were lodged by the police.
Yes, once the hearse was dispatched, we collected our porter and the human remains, which was wrapped in tarpaulin, a large bundle of human remains, approximately about 6 foot long and 4 feet wide. We collected the human remains, brought it back to the parlor, and it was maintained in that condition as we picked it up from the airport until it was required from the police force for the next step.
The mortician identified before the commission former Detective Sergeant of the Ghana Police Force Glensford Burnett as one of the officers who accompanied the remains to Likens Funeral Home. Dr. Stewart spoke of the first time she was able to actually view the remains of the 8 miners.
Yes, after that point, once the inspectors were there to look at and take pictures and to take DNA studies, we were able now to see the remains, which included charred parts of bodies, skulls, hands, and torso, and various different parts of human stature.
Would have remained at your location for how long?
The remains continuously remained in our custody for approximately 4 years.
But on the 11th day of September 2012, the remains were prepared for burial. It is Dr. Stewart's testimony that then Crime Chief Seelall Persaud had suggested to Liken that the remains be buried in one coffin. That's when she objected.
At the point of burial, I suggested to the then CID folks who were in contact with me in reference to the preparation of burial for these persons that we needed 8 coffins to bury the persons in, because there were 8 persons that died. I was instructed by the then crime chief that there was only 1 coffin needed for the burial. However, through my negotiation, we were able to attain 3 coffins to be buried in 3 different tombs at that time on that said 11th day. However, we didn't have names to be placed on all of the tombs. There were only 1 family member there, and so we were able to use 2 names on the coffins to have them buried on that day, on the 11th.
The mortician testified that Likens Funeral Home later entombed the remains, but family members were not allowed to view those remains since the police related that the bodies were unrecognizable. She said, scientifically, the remains can be exhumed for further DNA and other forensic analysis. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.